All right, yesterday we did factoring with x squared plus bx plus c. Today we're going to be factoring in a different form. So your target is I can factor ax squared plus bx plus c. So there's going to be a number in front of there today. First thing, go ahead, hit pause, do the warm-ups 1 and 2. All right, number 1, you should have had 3x squared plus 14x plus 8. And number 2, you should have ended up with 6x squared plus 7x minus 24. So your questions are going to look like this, and your answers today will look like 1 and 2. What are 2 factors of 100 that add together to be 25? Well, I thought to myself, 20 and 5. What are 2 factors of negative 24 that add to be negative 10? You always want to be asking yourself these questions. It's negative 12 and 2. There's a couple of different ways that we can factor. The first one is guess and check. I made a disclaimer that said, please remember that factoring takes patience, and you will often not find the right combination on your first try. You just have to keep on trying. So the first thing I did is I do my brownie points. I drew my 2 parentheses. Then I thought to myself, I made my little chart. I looked at the factors of 3x squared, the factors of 2, and I'm looking for a sum that's 7. So my factors of 3x squared, the only options I have are 3x and x. The only factors of 2 I have are 1 and 2. So obviously I don't have as many choices. So I would put in here my 3x and x, and then it's plus 1 and plus 2. I just put them in there randomly, but I need to check and see if they work. So go ahead and do 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times 2 is plus 6x. 1 times x is plus x. And 1 times 2 is plus 2. Sum them together, you get 7x. Oh, is that what I was looking for? We got lucky and got it on the first try. Number 2, I'm going to make another little chart. I want the factors of 2x squared and the factors of 12. I know that I'm looking for a sum to equal 11x. So my factors of 2x squared, I just have 2x and x. 12, I could have 1 times 12. I always go in order. 1, 2, 3. 2 times 6, 3 times 4. It's 4 times 3, so now we're back at the beginning. So let's go ahead. Our first one has to be 2x and x. Let's just pick some. I know that they're both positive. If I try the plus 1 and the plus 12, let's try that. When you're checking them, you already know that your first and your last work. We're just looking for our inner and outer. So I'm going to check the inside. 1 times x is 1x. 2x times 12 is 24x. When I add those together, I get 25x. That is definitely not 11. So before I completely eliminate that option, I'm going to switch them. I'm going to put the 1 and the 12 in the opposite places and see what happens. Pencils are so important in here. So this time I'm going to put the 12 here and the 1 here. 12x times 12 is, or times x is 12x. 2x times 1 is 2x. I get 14x. That is absolutely not right. At this point, I can go ahead and I know that the 12 and the 1 are not going to work. So I'm going to cross them out. So let's try the 2 and the 6. But think about it logically. You know you're going to be multiplying the 2 by out here. If I multiply 2 by 6, I'm going to already be at 12. I'm looking for 11, and I have to add them together. That's not going to work. So maybe let's just try the 6 here and the 2 here. 6 times x is 6x. 2x times 2 is 4x. Oh, I'm so close, but not quite. I got 11x. So again, I'm going to use my eraser. I already eliminated the other way in my head. So let's try 3 and 4. So I'm thinking to myself, what do I want to multiply by the 2? Because I know I want to get to 11. Let's try the 3 here and the 4 here. 4 times x is 4x. 2x times 3 is 6x. Add them together and I get 10x. Ah, so close, but not quite. So before I eliminate them, just switch the spots. Try the 3 here and the 4 here. 3 times x is 3x. 2x times 4 is 8x. Add them together and you get 11x. You know you're good. You already did your first and your last part of your distribution. You just needed your other 2 portions. Let's try number 3. Again, make a little chart. Look at your factors. You know you're looking for 2 numbers that multiply together to be positive 16, but add to be a negative. So they would both have to be negative. 3x squared, there's only one option again, 3x and x. But to get positive 16 and add to get a negative, negative 1 times negative 16. Negative 2 times negative 8. 3 doesn't go into it, but negative 4 times negative 4. So again, I'm going to guess and check. I have 3x and x. Let's think about what we want to do. If I know I want to end up at negative 16, I'm going to be adding the middle and adding the outer ones. I wouldn't want to try the negative 1 and the negative 16 because I'm already bigger than negative 16. So I thought to myself, I know I'm going to be multiplying by 3. What do I want to try to multiply by 3? If I put the negative 8 here and I multiplied it by 3, I'm already at negative 24. Way too big. Maybe let's try the negative 8 here and the negative 2. So I get negative 8x and negative 6x. Oh, what do I get when I add those together? Oh, negative 14x. Did not work for me just yet. So I'm going to go ahead. I already tried it the other direction. Let's try negative 4 and negative 4. Negative 4x. 3x times negative 4 is negative 12x. Negative 16x. I got it. However, I can take that one step further. Negative 3x, I'm sorry, I'm good to go then. Minus 4, minus 4. If I have 2 that are the same, I always try those first. Number 4, 2x squared and 21. The only factors of 2x squared are 2x and x. 21, 1 times 21, 2, no, 3 times 7, 4, no, 5, no, 6, no, 7, we're already at 3. So I only have a couple options here. So I have to know 2x and x. I know I'm looking for a positive 17. So I don't know about you, but I don't really want to multiply by 21 because it's already going to get so big. So I thought I'm going to first choose my 3 and my 7, just so that I could be a little bit more, it could make it a little easier. I thought to myself, I know I'm going to be multiplying 2x by something on the outside. What do I want to use? So I said, well, why don't I just try the 7, because 7 times 2 is 14. And let's see, 3x, 14x, add them together, I get 17x. It worked right away. Okay, there is another way that we could do these where you're not guessing and checking, and that is in the next video.